Okay, Eric, I am good to go. YouTube is streaming, so whenever
Okay.
you are ready to begin, I can hear you, so you're good.
Okay. All right, great. All right, thank you. Oh, welcome everybody. Welcome to I Get It. And our session today is going to be over the transitioning from CATIA V5 to 3DEXPERIENCE. For those of you who have not attended sessions, we've had sessions before. And my name is Eric Banson. I am a author here at I Get It. And what we're going to be going over today is this transitioning of CATIA V5 to 3DEXPERIENCE. And we're going to be talking about first we're going to talk about an introduction of I Get It and our website information. Next, we're going to talk about an overview of 3DEXPERIENCE user interface, and we're going to compare it with CATIA V5. And then we're going to talk about the user interface of 3DEXPERIENCE services and how it's compared to the top menu of CATIA V5. And then finally, time allows us, we'll talk about some tools and features comparison between CATIA V5 and 3DEXPERIENCE. Today is going to be about a 20 to 30 minute short session. We have a course online. Let's go ahead and start that. Let me switch my screen off here. And this is our website. When you come to it, you can sign up, or if you already are signed up, you can log in. You can then select at the top of our library, learning paths, solutions, and other things. We also have, we go down here, I've already kind of gone into the CATIA V6, or I should say 3DEXPERIENCE. And here you can see that here's the course itself. I'll be doing, like I said earlier today, a light version of this, kind of a preview to everybody. And we also have a course similar to this transition, but it's in SolidWorks, and it's from SolidWorks to 3DEXPERIENCE as well. And if you want, you can go ahead and sign up, and you can get more information here. And when you do sign up, you can then access all these other courses, as you can see here as well. And that's at myigetit.com, and I'll have some information at the end of this session for you then to see. So let's go ahead and let's begin. Now, right now here I have CATIA V5 open, and next to it I have 3DEXPERIENCE. Now, a lot of this is, I'm going to actually show you right now what the difference is and what you see visually between the two screens, the user interfaces. I will start to go back and forth just to let you know. I'll flip back and forth so you can see more of each of the actual platforms as I go through, so you can see in more detail. But to begin with, let's go ahead and just kind of take an all-around look. Now, for those of you who are in CATIA V5, you kind of know what's going on here. And you basically know that at the top, this is how you're going to access a lot of your applications or workbenches, I should say. And of course, we have a top menu bar with the file, edit, view, insert, and such. Now, all of these are kind of included, or should I say, transitioned over into 3DEXPERIENCE, but in a much different way. So let's go ahead and take a look back over here. And let me just expand that this way. And then here we can see that we have something a little bit different. Now, what I just mentioned about the top bar, there is a top bar that's in control as well, just like in CATIA V5. With 3DEXPERIENCE, you have what's called a compass. It's an if we compass. And next you have over here in the center, you have the search scope field. This is basically where you're going to search for all your part files, documents, and such through the PDM, which would be Innovia. Then over to the right, over here, we have what's called services. The services is basically your file, edit, view, insert, just like over here. It's all over here. And I'll get into a little more detail about those, but I just want to give you an overall, look across the top here. At the bottom, we have the status bar or prompt area with an input field. And then in the center, we basically have, just like in here, an open area. Now, when we want to go open up, say, we come in here to start, and we want to look at our workbenches. And these are basically named the same. We call them applications. I keep saying applications because that's what it is in 3D Experience. Part design is considered an application. Assembly design, drafting, shape, generative shape design. It's the same name, but they're referred as applications. And what I mean by that is, if I come over here, I have my 3D Experience. I'm sorry, I have my compass, my IFWE compass, and at the left-hand side, I have 3D modeling apps. And if I select on that, notice I get this large drop-down menu. Now within it, you'll see you have roles and profile. These roles and profiles is what you're assigned, so that then you can access the certain modeling apps that you can then use. You also have at the bottom, you have default system communities that you can actually join and go into. Here's SolidWorks, for those of you who have ever used SolidWorks. But basically, here is your workbench, you could say, from V5. But this is basically your applications or apps. You see you have part design, generative shape design, and we have everything else in here. Now, with your roles, you can actually, if I say I select on this role of myself here, if I select on it and I take that off, notice I'm only left with 3 modeling apps here. And if I want to, I can select on it again. And now I have them back. This is, again, 3D Experience has become more of a collaborative thing. This is what your organization or company allows you, or the licenses allow you to have certain modeling apps to use. So that's basically the 3D quadrant button that you would select. Now to exit out of this, you can just either hit the X here or hit the 3D button again. And if I go over, say, let's start at the top. And the top one is basically the social and collaborative apps. This allows you to create virtual organizations. You can collaborate with individuals and organizations within that particular structure. You can share information from your 3D Experience environment. As you can see down here, again, it's like another workbench. It's similar to the workbenches. And you have, again, your roles and profiles that allow you to see these things. If we go to, let's go to the right. And here we have information intelligence. This allows you to take information that's in the PDM regarding your documents and the metadata associated with them. It helps you make decisions based on information that is usually generated from that, as you can see here. And then at the bottom, we have, which is basically content and simulation apps. This basically allows you to view simulations of kinematics. And you can see here, I don't have any of those licenses or those abilities to view that with all my profiles that are on. The center button is basically a play button. It's kind of odd because it doesn't really bring anything up. What it does is basically, and I'll show you a little bit later when I open up a part, this basically automatically, when you press it, it automatically rotates objects, parts, or assemblies through different views and perspectives. And you can turn it off. There's a bar that comes up that allow you to pause it or turn it off. But basically, this is the compass. This is similar to your start button, like I said, in CATIA V5. Now, if we kind of move over to the middle, we have what's called the search scope field. And that basically allows you to open. If I go ahead and select on it, you'll see here that I can type in something, like if I typed in drill driver, or if I have content, I can come down here and I can select on it. And let's go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and select on this. And basically what it is it's going back to the PDM and it's looking for your content that you just worked on. That's only in your, you could say, like your bin, the stuff that you are working on currently. This is all the work that I've been working on personally. It'll only bring up. And basically what it does is it brings up all these results. And this is basically where you'll be able to save and whatchamacallit, and also retrieve all your documents or files or parts or what have you. To the right of that, there's this little tag. It's called the 6W tag. And what that does is it basically tells you if I go over here, it says here, it's the who, when, what, where, why, and how. And basically you can tag it with any of these. Tag a particular part or a particular assembly, and you'll be able to then retrieve it with that particular nomenclature that you give it. Here I have all tags and it's selected. Now I can deselect that and then just select who, or I can select what and why, and nothing's really coming up under that. But if I select maybe when, notice I get something that was tagged with a May 21st, because it was when, someone put a when in there. And if I select on it, it should then bring up my part then to the right and show. But we're dealing with a little bit of lag with the internet lately. So we're gonna go ahead and just exit out of this. Now I'm in a tab up top. This is another thing, and I'll bring up tabs. There's a lot of things to talk about when we talk about stuff here. The tabs, I should say, they're up here, and you can actually add, the plus will add a tab, as you can see here, and you can also delete the tab by moving your cursor over an X that will appear, and you can exit out of that. Now, if we go over to the right, what we have here are the services. The first service basically tells me I'm in common space and I can manage that. And my access role is a leader and an organization, and you'd have your company name. The next one over is basically the me icon, which basically tells me I'm a user and I'm number 2, user 2, UT. And basically you have my roles and profile, and that basically tells you what's available to you. Next, you have a status. This is your current collaboration status. It lets others see what you are currently doing. Next, we have preferences. Now, this is where we have something that's in common with CATIA V5. Preferences, basically, when I select on it, let it get up here. This is basically the exact same. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here, and I'm going to go back to our CATIA V5, and I'm going to go to options under tools. And if you take a look, this is our options window. So basically what we have is the same thing. Let's see if I can grab this. Oh, I can't. Basically what we have is we have the same thing here, option, but in 3DEXPERIENCE, it's called preferences. So I can go through here and I can select each one of these, and you'll see I can even go down to infrastructure, and within here we have everything, and we have shape and mechanical, just as in here, infrastructure, mechanical, and shape. And it has all the tabs. This probably will have a little bit more tabs and information and things because it is a new system compared to CATIA V5. But basically, that's about the same. And that's where the options is located, again, as preferences under the me icon. Next, you got work offline. This allows you to check out licenses. If I select on it, you can see here I have an MES license. The next item we have is a offline content, which basically shows you your offline content within a dialog box. And then basically you have the favorite content that allows you to choose and show favorites in dialog boxes. Next, we have, it's an important one, is add. This is the add service is basically just a plus sign. And when I select on it, you'll see that I have content at the top. That basically creates a document from a dialog box of favorites and types. And I'll select on it and show you. that here's your new content. So I can actually go right to a document or a part or something that I want to create brand new by selecting on that, or with under types and tooling design or anything else. It'll direct me to that new document and open it up immediately. After that, we have import. Allows you to import a large number of different types of files. You can go back this now. When I selected that button to the arrow to the right, this allows me to bring in the CATIA files from CATIA V5. So I can actually open up and it'll bring in any of the CATIA V5 type files into 3DEXPERIENCE. Physical product, 3D part, and drawing basically acts just like content. I can basically open up an instant new part or product right from here. And next we have the share button. Now the share button, I'm going to select on that and show you that basically allows you to save to the PDM so others can reference it, or it can be shared to collaborate space that is shared by a group of users. So what I mean by that is that I can instantly save my part right to the PDM as I'm working on it. I just select save. I can select here and I can have save with options, save all, and then a local save. The share is, like I said, it will open up to a collaborative space in a community where you can share your parts or your documents to them. You have 3D messaging, which basically allows you to export document. I'm sorry. This is it's instant messaging capability. Basically, you can talk to others. Sorry, I was thinking of export. Export allows you to export documents to another format. You can export to XPDM. You can get a knowledge report. And if I select on export, because I don't have anything open, sorry. If I select on that, I can export it either to my hard drive or export it as, like I said, another different type of file. And then finally, we have print. Now I'm going to have to open up something to show you the differences. There is no difference hardly at all between print, 3DEXPERIENCE, and print CATIA V5. So let's go ahead and start a part. We'll start a new one. And we'll walk through and do a comparison now of the basically of all the tools and commands and kind of the user interface in actually creating a part. So this is, of course, if you're from CATIA 5, you know what that looks like. There's a couple of different ways you can open up a new document. One is by actually, you can go into 3D modeling apps through here and you can select on part design and it'll open up a new, it'll create, I should say, a new part for you, new part file. You can also, like I said, if you go to here, I can open up one as well. So let's go ahead and open up one here. And what you'll get over here on the right is called an easy warning. It'll tell you that your creation is successful. It'll tell you the physical product number and what type it is. It's a 3D part. Now, when I open something up like this, when I start a part design, if you look up here, upper left, it says 3DEXPERIENCE, and then you have like a line, and then it says CATIA, and it says part design. If I was to if I'm creating something and I want to say switch to generative shape design, I would open up 3D on the if we compass, come down, select generative shape design. Now I'm still in that same physical part. I didn't create anything like a new physical product or anything. I'm still in here. But if you look at, I've moved now into shape design. That's just to let you know what you're in at all times when you are in an application. So it just lets you know so you don't get confused as to where you're working out of. So I'm going to go back to my part design. Let's go ahead and select that. And now I'm back in part design. Now, what I want to do is let's talk about print. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select, now these are opened up since we have a part open. I'm going to select print because I just want to bring up and show you the differences here. Here is that window, and let's go ahead and look for print in this window. And as you can literally see, let me actually close that, and there we go. There we go. You can actually see that there is no difference whatsoever. It's very, I mean, other than the colors and maybe some buttons, there's maybe one or two buttons that might be different, but overall it's virtually the same. So CATIA V5 print to 3D Experience print, that's an easy transition, extremely easy. So let's go ahead now and talk about, let's kind of go around the horn here, and let's talk about the different types of differences between the interfaces of CATIA V5 and 3D Experience within part design. So I'm going to compare kind of apples to apples in a sense, because we have basically here, let's start at the specification tree. Here, you basically know about the specification tree. We have one here as well. A little differences here is that we have this little arrow, and that's basically an unpin and pin button. I can take it off or place it on. I can also, if I have things written in the tree that are extremely long, I can go ahead and just rest my cursor over these two double bar lines. And what I'm going to do is I can pull it in and out, and you can see here, I can kind of hide the tree that way as well. Another thing is we have, if we go around, we have this is what's called a robot. And basically you can pick it up and move it onto a part or assembly and such. What you can also do is if I hover over these rings, if you notice when I turn it, I'm turning my center planes or coordinate system. I can angle them, turn them using the quarter rings, or even moving within the Z-axis here as shown as well. Now, if we move down here, what we have at the bottom is basically now in comparison to all of these guys, all these command tools, all the way around that usually you have pulling and dragging them in and out along the sides. Well, that is no longer going to happen as far as within 3D Experience. Everything is going to be down here at the bottom. It is all stationed at the bottom. They don't move they can't be moved to the right, top, or left side of your screen. They're always going to be at the bottom of your screen. You can hide them by selecting this unpin and pin arrow, as you can see here. You can get them back by actually selecting the arrow down here in the right corner. And basically what this is this is your section bar. The section bar gives you the name of the section that all your tools and commands that are in. So here they give you essentials. The essentials is basically a conglomerate of a bunch of different commands and tools of other sections. Now, if I want to get more specific, I go to model, I select on that little, you can see these little buttons or dots, and it changes the section. And under the section, you have what's called the action bar. And then to the left of it is called the permanent area. The permanent area is something that's always going to basically be the same for every application and every section. This will have the undo. If you select on these little arrow buttons, you'll have a pop-up menu, and you'll have an undo, redo, an overview, and everything like that. You can also have on this one is basically the update, a manual update mode that you can select on. These will always usually be here when I select any different section. Now, for those of you that are, of course, they're going, well, how am I going to remember where everything is? It's one of the most common problems is, where is everything? I can't remember everything. So, all right, until you get used to it, basically what you can do is hover your mouse over the model word, or within the section area, you right click, and then here you can see you have a pop-up menu that will basically give you icons with labels, and you can have sections with labels. So you get rid of the buttons, but you now have the words that you can then look at, the section words. So here's refine, and under refine, you can find you have edge fillet, chamfer, draft, remove, thickness. And again, these, if you don't see anything if you don't see what you want, go ahead and select these arrow buttons, and they will give you a pop-up menu with the tool command that you're looking for. At the bottom, we have at the lower right hand corner, real quickly, this is the what's the easy warning information button, and this will tell you what you've done in the past, and I'll give you the easy warning. So basically, I had a creation of a successful physical product. I'm working online. I made another one. Type was an injection side. Another type was a 3D part. I had a local save successful. It'll tell you everything that you've been doing in the past few hours, you could say, that you've been working. Now, basically, to go from here, you can go back and look, you can see that this whole thing, it's similar to if we went to insert, and this is basically we run over these kind of, I want to call them sections. That's basically what they are. And within the sections, you have your tools and commands. And that's basically what this is up here. So if you're looking for something to kind of compare it to understand it better when you make that switch over to 3D Experience, that's probably the best way that I can think of that will tell you what that kind of analogy will give you a helping hand when you're converting or transitioning over to 3D Experience. Now let's go ahead and under model, when you create a part, you're going to switch into Sketcher. So that's not a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select position sketch button. And you can see here where you can, again, your support, your origin, orientation, you can select and change everything there that you want. I'm just going to kind of take this for the default right now. Select OK. And now I'm in Sketcher. And how do I know that? If I look back up at the top, right next to 3D Experience, you see that you're in Sketcher. Now, again, you have your lines, your rectangles, again, circles. You have everything here that you normally have, just like back in CATIA V5, except it's all here at the bottom. You also have analysis, view. It goes to the point of touch if you have a touch screen, where it allows you to actually work within a touch screen environment as well. If we come back here, and then when I'm say if I want to find something, I can't see it here, you'll see these little arrow buttons that will extend your action bar to find more commands and tools. And you'll see another circle with an arrow in it. If you select on that, that will also bring in things and hide things as well. So let's go ahead and we're going to slide back the other way. We have our permanent area. And within that, this did change. I said before that it basically doesn't change, but it did was it added the normal view and exit application. So if I go ahead and select rectangle, you'll see you get your tools palette. I'm going to select over here, snap over there, and we're just going to create a quick little square. And I'm going to go ahead now and exit the app. As far as mouse controls go, they're basically the same. Using the middle mouse button and the right mouse button, they're all the same. Zooming in and out is basically all the same. If you get off track, you can always, again, use the robot on the side to turn things around. You also can, I believe, does this one have it? No, it doesn't have one that, usually there's one that will bring you back to normal view. But basically what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and model this. Let's go ahead and select. Oh, we can update this manually as well. I'm going to go ahead and pad this. Sketch. And we get the pad definition dialog box. As you can see here, again, very similar to CATIA V5. You also have the option, you can drag the center arrows. you have the more button, which gives you more selection. And when you're happy with what you got, go ahead and select OK. And there you have your solid part. Another thing is now we go back. Remember, was talking about that play button. If I go ahead and select that now, notice what's going to happen. It's basically going to take it through some views. I selected the play button, and that's basically what it does. Hit stop, and you can go right back, select essentials, and you're back into your regular mode of part design. Now, another thing you can do, if you notice that we have one last thing I'll show you here is we have, if I right click, you have in open space, you can do displays. You can show your status bar. You can remove the tree display. You can do other things as well. The ambiance button allows you to change your backgrounds so that you can change to maybe like a dark mirror. We'll give it a second here if it'll do it. There it goes. So you can change your presentation look of your part by just changing the background. You can do a studio view. As you can see what it looks like here. And you can even get, they even have what they have, like basically a environmental view. So if I want to say place something, creating some kind of part or something, and I want to place it like indoors or something, you'll see here, I'm basically in a factory setting or a warehouse. I can do also a city, a road, outdoor, or we can just go back to what we were working with, which was pure white. And you also have a style. You can actually change things to kind of like a sketchy look. So you can do a lot of different things. You have a full screen or a full screen for design. If you have a presentation, things like that. And you can go back to normal by just selecting none. But basically, that is about it. Like I said, if you go back to myigetit.com, and there's a whole course there that goes through much, much more for your transition of CATIA V5 to 3DEXPERIENCE. It gets really in depth as far as with the search scope field, the 6W tag. It goes through actually creating a small part to show you basically what I kind of showed you already, but in much more detail. And let's go ahead and bring up our last slide here. We talked all about this. Let me just get to the last slide. And that is basically for information. Like I said earlier, I've been saying it through there. Go to myigetit.com and again, sign up, and you'll be able to access not just 3DEXPERIENCE, but you'll access CATIA V5, Autodesk platform, SolidWorks platform, and many others. So thank you for attending, and that is it.
Thanks, Eric. So just everybody, just so you guys know, we're going to be holding sessions usually on a weekly basis through iGetIt as well as YouTube Live. The next sessions will be posted. We'll send out some marketing, information via LinkedIn and newsletters and other areas. So we'll be covering all different products that we, from, as Eric said, Autodesk, Siemens PLM, Dassault products, systems, and PTC. And then we also do some industry topics like GD&T and FEA and additive manufacturing. So we'll be covering a lot of those as well. So look forward to seeing you guys in future sessions and hope this was good for you. Other than that, we're going to end today's session and have a great day.